acting like a child. You're knocking on my door and you're ringing my bell. Hope you're not impatient after waiting so very long. Oh, yeah, I put you off with my silly hands. And we're both old enough to know right from wrong. Tonight is the night that you make me your woman. You said you'd be gentle with me. And
What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Improvement Coach Robert L. Caddy. You are tuned in for another episode of The Health of the Nation. So glad that you joined us today. Again, we're here at The Health of the Nation. We're broadcasting live from Tulsa, Oklahoma, the home of the original Black Wall Street. And, of course, I'm here with my partner in crime one time, ma'am.
Sharita Sweet.
One time. Sharita Sweet's in the house.
Sweet is here.
She's here with us. And we have a great show lined up for you. It's going to be very informative, very educational, and hopefully all of our listeners are going to gain something from it as usual. We're going to talk about some things pertaining to COVID. Of course, we have to mention some things about COVID, being that we're right in the middle of the second state, the second emergency here in America. So we have to address some things about COVID. And we have a guest here that's going to go a little deeper into that. We're going to go into talking about the other side of COVID, if you will. And also, it is back to school time. So we have a guest that's going to put some things in perspective about some of the back to school events that are happening. And just we're also going to talk about just some of the preparations that students and parents can take in preparing for the school year, just to make sure that it is successful. So, again, we're so glad that you joined us. We're live from Tulsa, the home of the original Black Wall Street. This is the Health of the Nation. This is your improvement coach, Robert L. Caddy. And it is getting ready to happen. We're getting ready to go over this information. So, how you feeling today, Sharita?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Well, I can't complain. I mean, I could, but
Wouldn't do anyhow.
yeah, I mean, that's not the way. That ain't how we do it.
Definitely not.
You know, we always focus about the good things.
Always.
Always trying to manifest and focus on and project, all the good stuff. So
Most definitely.
that's what it's all about. Luckily, as we talk about the good stuff and we talk about health,
Yeah.
we're gonna provide some. We need to touch on some other things too, pertaining to the community and health and
Definitely.
maybe some things that we have going in the better program.
Okay. Sounds
think
good.
that'll
We can
be
definitely
good.
talk about that.
We got a couple of specials
Yeah.
that we've been offering to the community,
Definitely.
basically to the nation, not just the community here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but some things that we're offering to the whole nation, because some people train with us in person, some people train online, but we want everybody to have an opportunity to get better.
Yeah.
So we've created the platform for that. So basically nobody has any excuses. None of our guests have any excuses. And since we're talking about guests,
Oh dear.
let's identify who it is that we have on the show today.
Get it done.
Let's see. Ma'am, would you please just state your name? Come a little close to your mic. Let me make sure we hear you.
I am Alnetta Morris, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for OSU Tulsa.
Okay. Arnetta Morris, and you're the Community Engagement. What is that title again this morning?
And Community Engagement Coordinator
Okay.
for OSU Tulsa.
Okay. Community Engagement Coordinator. Okay. Got that. Okay. And you're going to be going over some things with us that pertain to the some back to school events.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Okay. All right. and of course, who else do we have in the house today?
I am
Like-
Katrina Tucker.
We can't hear you, Katrina. You need to be loud.
I am Katrina Tucker.
Yes, I am.
I am.
I also known as Curves. also known as Katrina Curves. So
There you go.
Katrina Curves is in the house, and some people just know you from, your fitness journey and all the motivation, all the inspiration that you have provided to so many people to get engaged and take their health and wellness to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know also what you do professionally.
Yeah.
Okay, what you do professionally. All right. And what you do professionally is what we're going to talk about, and it pertains directly to some things that are going on in the nation. Okay, some things that are going on in the nation as far as health and wellness, and it's of the most serious nature. I'm going to say of the most serious nature. Um, and what do you do professionally, Katrina? Real
I'm a
quick.
registered nurse.
Say a little louder.
I'm a registered nurse.
Okay, you're a registered nurse. Okay, so she's going to go over some things that pertain to what's going on, and basically how we're describing it. We're saying the other side of COVID, right? The other side, not just the side where we have people who need vaccinations and all these different things, but also um, what is it that the nurses are going through right now, as far as struggles? The healthcare professionals. What are some of the challenges that they're having? Right now.
I would say with COVID and being in the midst of a pandemic, especially with nurses that work directly with patient care in the hospitals or in clinics, or even with vaccinations, anything that's involving direct patient care. I've seen a lot of nurses, or I've talked to a lot of nurses who have experienced depression, anxiety. A lot of them feel like they've had some PTSD from working in the field.
Okay.
And then I know for myself that's also been the case.
Okay. I mean, that's something that a lot of us don't think about.
No, definitely not.
We just know that people need to be vaccinated, and we know a lot of people aren't well. We know this side, but I mean, really putting it in perspective, I don't know how many people think about the healthcare provider
Themselves.
who's on the other side, who's always engaged. And I mean, you're not dealing with people who might, sometimes who might have COVID. Sometimes what is the percentage of people that you deal with who already have COVID?
Well, if we're talking about before the vaccines came out, I mean, you dealt with everybody who was dealing with COVID, especially with some of the healthcare providers who work in like the ICU fields, or that's going to be someone they're dealing directly with COVID patients all the time. So the percentage was really high.
Okay.
As far as now, I can't really speak on that because I've been doing for the last 7 months vaccinations. So I can't say who right now that I would say percentage wise that has COVID, but there's still a lot of people who have COVID, whether they're vaccinated or unvaccinated.
Truly.
So the vaccine does not give you immunity from getting COVID.
Not at all.
Okay.
So that's a big misconception, I believe.
Wow, that's a giant misconception.
Oh yeah.
I might have to have you say that one more time. turn that mic up. Say it real loud.
The vaccine does not make you immune to getting COVID.
The vaccine does not make you immune.
Right. You can still get COVID with the vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you have the vaccine in itself, I understand it, you will have less effects from COVID if you have the vaccine in
less
your system.
severe.
Less severe.
Right.
Less severe effects from it.
So it's just like if you got the flu shot.
Exactly.
You
won't have flu as bad.
Right.
But you might still get flu. But it won't be as bad as it could
same
be.
concept, exactly.
Okay. So I mean, and you all correct me if I'm hearing this wrong. That
we'll correct you.
Let's just say if
we'll do that.
If your body is not in a position to deal with COVID, let's just say your immune system. Let's just say you're in bad health.
Your immune system is weak.
Okay, your immune system is weak.
Yeah.
All right, and you catch COVID. There's a possibility that the effects could be more drastic.
Exactly.
Because you're not healthy already.
Yeah.
Which is why so many people have already passed away.
Okay, so the healthier you are, the possibilities of you catching it and being almost okay, if not okay, are high.
It's higher, but it's not.
Okay.
Right.
It's not 100.
Even if you're completely healthy, doesn't
100%.
mean you can't get COVID.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now we're not talking about getting it. I'm talking about I'm talking about I'm gonna get
but
it.
the effects of it,
it's gonna put me down.
I believe would be less severe.
Less severe.
This is what I believe.
Because we know quite a few people who had it who obviously recovered.
Right. There's a lot of people who recovered.
And so it had a lot to do with probably their pre-existing state as far as their health was concerned.
Could be.
So that's now let me ask you this, Trina, since we're talking about the healthcare professionals, is there a high percentage of healthcare professionals who weren't in good health and they got the vaccine, or they were treating people and they didn't do well? They had some severe effects from it.
There have been healthcare providers who also died from COVID.
Yeah.
Wow.
From catching it while they've been working in the field.
I'm not surprised to hear that, but I hadn't heard about any providers who died.
Yes.
So, I mean, that sheds a whole nother light. So they're basically in danger. They're just as much in danger as the people who are getting the vaccinations.
Exactly.
Well, actually
more in danger.
More in danger because they're working directly with it.
Especially if they're not in good health.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. Especially if they're not in good health, which kind of shines the light on you again because of your journey and the commitment that you've made in the past to better health.
Yes.
To how many people you could actually influence and inspire in your profession if you make the decision to head in that direction. You might just save the world.
Which is a blessing.
But
let's just say I never had it.
Wow, and that's amazing. You work with it all the time, but you never had it.
Never had it.
I'm going to say that had something to do with your commitment to doing better. We would guarantee that has a lot to do with your commitment to doing better in the past.
But I think also when you were mentioning the aspect of the physicians getting COVID and those dying in itself, in the way I work with physicians and probably in the way that you've seen them in general, them working on their own personal health, physical health, mental health is something that it's not like it's not put to the forefront of their own everyday paces, and so they don't deal with that daily. They're not always making sure they're taking care of their physical health or their own mental health in itself. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that it's not just the physicians, but also anybody in healthcare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it puts them more susceptible to getting COVID, especially if they're working directly with these COVID patients, just like anybody else who's walking around the street.
Right.
So it's no different. Whether you're a physician or whether you're a lay person walking around the street, and whether you're vaccinated or not, is the point I'm trying to get to, is that if you are unhealthy physically and mentally, no matter your state, you can still get this virus.
Vaccine or not.
Vaccine or not.
So that means, man, we really have to take it up on the health of the nation and in the better program and accept a little bit more responsibility to educating people to what they can do to improve their states of wellness, health and wellness. The immune system, I mean, as everyone is, because to describe this virus, I believe a definition would be submicroscopic. And that means that it travels airborne. That basically means that it could still get through your mask. So everybody could have masks on and still not be well and still get COVID.
Say it, Katrina. What's going on
in
that head? Say it. It's in the face. Just say it.
I'm not going to talk about the mask.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we're just saying we'll just say submicroscopic. That means that you might get a telescope and look at it and you might not even see it. So that's small enough to travel through cotton. Those particles are small enough to travel through the mask, etc. So looks like the only chance is that everyone starts to do better as far as their individual health. It seems to me. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like somebody's gonna have to accept purpose up in this joker, and it's not me.
And it's not me.
It is you. I'm sorry. Somebody.
It's like I'm already on it.
Somebody. Yeah. Somebody's.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. Somebody's gonna have to do that. So.
Yeah. You mentioned also, Katrina, about PTSD. We just briefly touched it in general, and I know the physicians are having a tough time dealing with this, and in part, in the way that I see it, is because they weren't trained to deal with the pandemic, and they were never trained to even deal with this type of a virus coming through hospitals and through the nations and whatever else. What are you seeing when you're saying PTSD? What are the what attributes are you seeing happening with all the healthcare professionals right now that make you think they're having PTSD?
I'll just tell you about me personally, because I don't talk about other people. I can't speak on their journey. I can just talk about mine. So before I went to California, which I've been doing vaccinations for the last 7 months in California. Shout out to my team in California. I worked in the ICU here in Oklahoma for the first year and a half of the pandemic when it hit.
Yeah.
But the reason why I left to go to do the vaccines was because of what I was feeling, not because I thought I was going to get COVID, not because I was worried about getting COVID, because I work directly with COVID patients every day.
Okay.
I was never worried about that.
Okay.
But what I was experiencing was a lot of turmoil from seeing
day in and day out, sun up to sundown.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I'm having to leave, and I can't I don't see myself returning to something I love to do.
Wow.
Because it was just that heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
That's when I decided it was time for me to take a step back from that part of nursing. So when I decided to go back into it, it was something on the other side of it, which for me, I wanted to do that because I felt like I was going to help to prevent those people from going into the ICU,
hospital,
right? Because when they came out with the vaccine, there was a lot of controversy whether people wanted to take it, whether they didn't want to take it, and everybody has a right on what they decide they want to do.
Sure.
For what I saw, for what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that I could try to prevent people from going into that situation that I saw.
Yeah.
Because it was not a nice situation. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't. Really heartbreaking on a lot of ends, whether it was the person that actually had the virus and was dealing with being on the ventilator versus us having to contact the family who couldn't visit them because everything was shut down.
Right.
So there was just a lot. And I know me personally, I dealt with it, and I know other people that I've come in contact with and I've worked with also have felt the same way. So
wow.
I agree.
That's more than I'm sure any of us expected to hear. But I must still say that it's courageous, to make the decision, even though it was something that you had to do, for your own wellness. But it just shows that you were still committed to helping people.
Right, I'm
still
always going to be committed to that.
Yeah, still committed.
That's what I do.
That means you're a nurse at heart.
Yes,
obviously, and we have to applaud you for that. I'll applaud you for that. For being who you are and not being afraid to be who you are.
Oh, no,
that's what it's all about.
Not at all.
So, we know a lot of people right now who are in the healthcare and that working in healthcare who just do it for a paycheck, and it's really not at their heart, in their hearts. We see more and more of that. I see it just with the service, when I go to see people in the hospital, and I remember what it used to be like, and it was like, it seemed like people, cared more. They were more, now they're just like, man, let me hurry up and get in and get out of here. And this is before COVID,
right.
It just seemed like people were a little more caring. You could tell that caring for people was a part of what they do, who they are, as opposed to I just got to go to work,
right?
So we definitely need more people like that. It definitely needs to take the recruitment up, and of course, it's just going to lean back to somebody's purpose in here again. Man, it's just going to keep coming back. Ain't no way around it.
True. So. And I wanted you to talk about it a little bit, Katrina, just for the sake is that I know for me, I have been seeing physicians and nurses and all healthcare staff struggle with this because it hasn't been it's just a different environment. It's a different way of life. It's a different hospital, honestly.
Oh yeah, completely different different than what it used to be. And honestly, I would say just keep all your healthcare providers in your prayers, because it is something that they definitely need. If you've been looking at, if you read any articles or look at the news or anything that's going on with the healthcare professionals right now, there's masses of people leaving because they're so stressed out, because they're so burnt out, because they're so worn out from dealing with what COVID has done to, the people, so their patients. And just because I've heard people say, oh, well, you knew what you signed up for when you signed up to become a nurse. And it's like, you thought I'd sign up we didn't know, I didn't know all these years ago that this was going to happen. Right. Nobody knows they're going to sign up to be a part of the pandemic, and then deal with the aftermath of that. So we're not superhuman.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're people also. So we deal with just like anybody else does.
Yeah, you just wanted to help people.
Yeah.
Right. So man, that's some great information. That does provide another perspective. We're definitely hearing it from the other side. As we continue to talk about everything else, everyone putting on masks, it just kind of, again, puts it in perspective that there's a lot of people who are in danger. Yeah. The people who are serving people are in danger. So, like you said, they definitely need our prayers. They definitely need our motivation. They definitely need our inspiration. Yeah. And they definitely need those role models within the healthcare industry who are willing to step forward and start to establish those new lifestyles, and maybe go through the journey like Katrina did and, become who she is with that, losing those 100 pounds and, and having that transformation, that healthy transformation. So again, we're going to talk more about her purpose when we get off the air, because a lot of people need what she has, and that's called purpose. When people need what you got, that's called purpose. when what you got, nobody else has, and people need it, that's called purpose. So we do appreciate you coming on with us, Katrina Curves, and sharing that perspective for us. So powerful.
Very much so.
You know, it just touched my heart, you know, to hear you tell the story. So
and definitely we'll be praying for you and for everyone else, because we know that the nursing industry, healthcare industry, this is a different world for them.
Yeah, it was a big step to leave my job to go do something different, but that's what I had to do for me.
So, mental health first.
Man, you know, I can't take care of somebody else if I'm not taking care of first.
Exactly.
So if I'm not all the way good, then I can't be 100% for you.
You know it. You know it.
I'm good though.
That's awesome. That's awesome and courageous. You know, and again, I know from working within purpose, you do have to walk away from things. Yeah. You know, you have to walk away from a lifestyle. You do have to walk away from other things as far as employment is concerned. So it takes a lot of courage. So again, we have to applaud you. I'm sure all of Tulsa, anybody who's watching this broadcast, they have to applaud you as well. Again, we thank you so much, and keep supporting other people you know who are out there in the field.
Definitely.
Yeah,
always.
So, but we're going to move on and put some other things in perspective with our next guest who's on with us, Miss Morris. Miss Morris, you in the house?
I'm in the
Come a little closer to that mic, Miss Morris.
All right.
I can't hear you. Can you hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Not really. Get up on that. Get up on that.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what's going on, Miss Morris? What's going on out there in the community?
Well, thank you for having me. I am a part of OSU Tulsa, and we have a community back to school bash that will be happening on next Tuesday from 5 to 7:15. We have transitioned now because of the numbers have been going up, and transition into a drive-by now.
Okay.
So instead of families getting out of their car, they can follow a path in parking lot A, and we have different resources and different businesses that will be there to provide the school supplies and other resources as well.
Awesome.
And so some of those resources, so if you're looking for a doctor, we have someone there, a dentist office as well, counseling service, after school programs. If you're planning on going to college, we want to make sure that you have the start. And then we have speech therapists, and we have entertainment as well. So as everyone is getting their school supplies and getting the other resources, we're going to entertain you with some talent from North Tulsa.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
so this is Back to School Bash 2.0.
Hey,
drive by.
It's all about the community on what we can do, because it's going to take all of us to get through this. And so every little bit helping. OSU Tulsa is happy to do that.
Awesome.
That's awesome to see them giving back.
Yeah.
Yes.
At this level too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what time is that happening?
This is going to be from 5 to 7:15.
So that's after work time,
yes,
which is good.
After work,
which is really good.
Yes.
Not in the middle of the day, like most of them are. It's hard to get to. So that's good.
So, but we're wanting to invite all of the community to come out. We have prepared over 500 bags for school supply bags to pass out to everyone, all the way from pre-K through 12th grade.
Go ahead.
And so actually we had Tulsa County yesterday. They brought over, I think it was about almost 20 individuals that came on their lunch break.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Just to help out, to make sure that we have those ready for Tuesday. So shout out to Tulsa County.
That's
Are
awesome.
there volunteers for that?
We do have volunteers, but
if you need more volunteers,
we'll take them. Okay. Yes, we are always ready.
All right.
For those who know me in education, I'll put you to work.
My sister's a teacher, so okay.
I will put you to work. But we've been really blessed for the community to say that they want to be a part of. Donating, and even for those who couldn't donate this year, we're looking at this being even better and greater next year, because just the response has been overwhelming. And I'm just excited on what we can do for the community.
Man, that's awesome.
I love it.
Miss Morris, how long have you been in the field of education?
Oh, I started way back.
Way back in the day.
Damon Jr. is 26, so about 26 years.
Okay.
Wow.
I started out at Hawthorne Elementary.
Okay.
And then from there, went to Paradise Christian Academy, and from there had a vision to open up my own. So
actually used to be my son's teacher.
I did. Yeah. So we co-founded.
That's why I still call you Miss Morris, because I'll be talking to him. What did Miss Morris say? And I'm still thinking Miss Morris.
So co-founded Solid Foundation Preparatory Academy, which is in our 19th year. So very, very blessed about that as well.
That's awesome. What about some of the developments that you've? Is there anything? I know there's a lot of things as far as students. What students have to as far as what they're up against. The tools, everything has changed, the environment. But what would you say is probably one of the biggest changes as far as education is concerned from when you started to today?
One of the changes I would say is just the support.
Okay.
That's one thing for the support. As a community, we need to be more engaged with our students, providing those resources than we have in the past.
Okay. And when you say support, you mean as far as parents, or just like a community that checked on? You see somebody, my son hit friends, and I want to know what they're doing, or is it like the church or small businesses?
I say it's the whole community, from parents to the church, to different businesses. We should be seeing what can we do to make sure that you're going to succeed.
Okay.
You don't have a choice. When I was growing up, I didn't have a choice to learn. You're going to learn.
Just that,
and we're going to make sure it takes the village.
That village concept.
It takes a village to make it happen.
Yeah.
And when it happens, it's not no I, it's we.
We
made it. That we can do it.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it.
Yeah. So it's kind of a celebration for everybody.
Oh, yes.
A success for everybody.
Oh, yes.
I wish we would go back to that with that mentality, where we are raising a village, type of a thing. Because I think our kids prospered, communities prospered, neighborhoods prospered when you were looking out for each other, going down the street and whatever else it might have been. You knew everybody down in your neighborhood. You knew who lived with what and what was going on. And you knew when somebody was getting in trouble, and you knew who to call when they got in trouble. And Big Mama and whomever else was about to get a call when you knew you were misbehaving. And so I wish we would go back to that, because that builds our community. It's kind of like what a lot of Hispanics, Latinx do in itself, Asians do in itself. They have that kind of a village community, and we need to go back to that, because it helps us to prosper, just in growth economically, educationally, and even sometimes mentally, when we know that other people have our backs and taking care of our children and wanting the best for them. So I think I would love for us to all go back to that, because it's important. It's important.
Oh, yes. And I remember that, because once you got in trouble at school, you already knew.
We didn't take much.
Please don't call my mom and daddy. I knew what was going to happen when I got home.
I want to go home.
And since y'all brought that up, I'm gonna ask you all a question. What are a few things that you all have recognized that could be done to bring that quote unquote back to help us move forward? What is something that could be done?
Oh, that's a good question.
To bring that back, but yet still help us move forward?
Love and support of each other.
There you go.
I mean, just looking in their neighborhood, seeing people who are trying, being there for them. If you know there's a single mother with kids, she's working her darndest, she knows she has a latchkey kid coming home, knock on that door one day and say, hey, I'm going to keep looking after your son as he comes home every day. Right. And if I see anything, I'm going to let you know. So can I have your number? Just being there to love on each other, starting that community, and starting to build it. And then once that circle starts, it just expands. Where everybody's like, oh yeah, did you know Miss is looking after what and what? Okay, I'm going to start looking after what and what. I mean, it's just, you can easily build a community by showing love to your community.
Oh, that is so true. When you talk about your neighbors, I have some elderly in my neighborhood. And so our church, First Baptist Church, North Tulsa, we have food giveaway. And I know that we have those elderly. So what do? I make sure that I just take something by there. They don't even expect it. And they're like, oh, my, you just for you to think about me.
Exactly.
They are very appreciative. So that love, and not want nothing in return.
Exactly.
Giving because you want to give.
Exactly.
And just because you just want to make a difference. Because you never know what somebody's going through. or what's at their breaking point.
Exactly.
But you can just step right on in on time.
Yeah.
And be able to make a difference.
Yeah. Definitely.
And something I want to throw out there, as we talk about moving forward and we talk about the past, just kind of looking at the landscape, how everything is different now, where a lot of kids spend their time now, where once upon a time they spent time in the neighborhood. When we were growing up, we were out in the neighborhood, but now, we're inside, we're on the computer. Our community, you can have kids in the same community that are actually a part of other communities.
Agreed.
Digital communities at that.
Definitely.
So putting that in perspective, that you have kids who are in a neighborhood or in a community who are not actually a part of that community. How do you create, that particular community where those particular principles or values exist? That in itself, I'm sure there's something that exists like that, but I've never heard of it. I'm sure there's something like that, some type of project that brings the kids together who are working on certain principles, certain values, making good grades, doing this or doing that, whatever the case may be. But of course, there are kids in certain neighborhoods or communities who are a part of other communities who have other goals.
Yeah.
So they're not connected anymore. So how would you all say, what would you do in the digital age, as far as helping to create that particular community? Let's just say if you were still teaching 7th and 8th graders, creating that community in a digital age. I believe that would probably be something that parents could do. I think if I had a child that age, that would be something that I would think about, making sure that these kids in the neighborhood are connected, and they're connected on specific notes. The goal is to grades, the goal is to this, the goal is to that, and making sure that, when they get on the internet, which they're going to do, is no way that we can stop that, but making sure that they at least come together on those particular concepts, and that's just as a form of support. What do you all think about that? Because that's the obstacle. I love it and I remember it, but let's be realistic and look at what we're dealing with here today. What would you all say about that?
Probably just coming up, trying to find a program, and then plug into resources on letting the students know what's going on, but also celebrating them as well.
Okay.
I think that's a big thing that we need to do, because what might be one goal for you might not be the same goal for me.
Okay.
And I think we need to celebrate everybody at their own level.
Okay.
With that, but just definitely coming up with a program, plug it into our churches again,
okay.
Our schools, different businesses, whoever that wants to be a part of, call it the future.
Okay.
Just coming
off of
it, just the future.
There it is.
And just plugging into, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But just letting the community know we got you.
Yeah.
We got you back. Sometimes kids just want to know that somebody got me.
Right,
if I fall, it's okay. I heard if a turtle is on a ladder, it didn't get there by itself. Somebody helped it.
Yeah.
So as a community, we need to help our students.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
And I heard you mention celebrate.
Yes.
So in your tenure in education, would you say that celebration, making sure that the achievements are celebrated, when they're celebrated at a certain level, that has an effect upon the students' performance, their confidence, and things like that?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. When teaching, students would get in trouble, but as soon as they got in trouble, we dealt with it. It was over. They might do something else, and I'm going to still celebrate them right then and there.
Okay.
I'm not going to carry it on because I want them to know it happened.
Yeah.
We dealt with it. That's in the past. Yeah. We're moving on. Right. We don't have time to look in the back.
So you might be in trouble about this, but we're going to celebrate this.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, still to let them know, okay, we mess up, but we still can move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big responsibility. I think we definitely, I don't know, maybe we need, maybe the teachers need tutors. Maybe the teachers need teacher tutors. Maybe they need teachers who have a little more.
Something else.
Take notes. When he has to talk to everybody, listen.
One of the things I was
saying, whole business.
When I'm about to say Pastor Morris, Mrs. Morris, I don't know where that came from. Sorry, Mrs. Morris and Mrs. Morris is talking in itself as well as Coach. I remember there is a web platform where when students need someone just to watch them while they're doing their homework, they have other people are in the room. It's like a big Zoom room, and everybody's doing their homework. And they're just kind of watching each other. It's just that community in itself. Maybe we could develop. I mean, maybe something like that needs to be, developed within the neighborhoods, where each, it's just maybe grandma who is computer savvy, who lives 3, houses down in itself, is willing to turn on her computer throughout the day, while, little Bobby, who's down the street, is supposed to be in front of that computer doing his homework. And so even though mom is not right in the middle of it, somebody is still watching that kid in the neighborhood.
And talk about technology. I'm all for technology, but it needs to be hands-on.
Okay.
We need to be in that classroom. So
I understand.
But I do know that's the way we're going. But, they need to know right here. I'm one of those hands-on. Yes.
I understand. I think it needs to be both. I mean, I agree. Some kids truly do need that hands-on, but the way that our kids, in my opinion, are moving, everything is digital. Everything.
You're right.
Their life is digital. Pretty soon they won't even be driving cars. The cars will be driving them. Everything is digital. Yeah. And so to keep an eye on them and help them to grow in the community that we want and help them to know that the community is supporting them. I know that, I think Coach is just trying to get onto how do we get that support? How do we create that village? And I think it's just going to be, it's going to have to be multifaceted. We're going to have to find the hands-on aspects and where we need it. We're going to have to find the digital aspects where we need it, because each kid is reached differently.
You're right. You're right.
But I can say as we talked about kids being reached differently, just, as adults, there's certain things and certain platforms that work better for us. One thing we know that is for sure, and that is the internet.
Yeah.
For one, definitely.
Yep.
It needs to be offered. And, one thing I've learned just from business and, even where we're in the age of the Instagrams and the social media, the Facebook, whenever people have to go to get something, sometimes they're going to go, but not, unless they're really interested in what it is that a person is doing, it's a possibility that they may not go to that website. It's kind of like watching TV, and that's why we always see commercials. It's like subconscious programming. I didn't really want to learn about this particular product or this particular business, but while I'm sitting here watching something that I am interested in, it just came across the TV. So I'm just saying where we have identified the fact that this community needs to be built digitally. How do you consistently bring it to them? And I'm going to say with that idea of creating that digital community amongst those particular children, those particular high school students who have those particular values, who have those particular principles, and it may be the responsibility of the administration or a relationship between the administration and the parents to make sure that, these are the goals, because basically, we know kids, they call their friends their family, they're close and in their minds, they're closer to them than they are closer to, their own family, through their own family, when they're growing up. But I think really that may be something that hopefully if there's someone who's listening to this show and, they're having some ideas that are related to what we're talking about, I'm sure Ms. Morris would be open to probably chatting with you or probably even consulting, using that 24 years worth of experience to help and make sure that something could be crafted that's effective, because that is the reality of it. All the things that we say we want, all the things that we know once existed, the way to do that is definitely going to be in creating something that is in the digital lane, something that has something to do with the internet. And we know community is what we want. Community is what we want. I don't think we want kids in the same neighborhood who are part of different communities. If they're on the same street and they're walking out the door, then they need to be connecting and hopefully connecting on the same same values, same principles, same goals.
Yeah.
You know, of course, they're not the same kids.
No.
That would be something that, you know, something that someone who was listening, if they wanted to find something objective, well, they're all different. Definitely, they're all different. But there are some basics, right?
Right.
We're just talking about the basics. You know, treat people decent. Don't, you know, try not to rob, steal, and kill.
Right.
You know, work hard on your grades so you can do blah, 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 whatever the case may be, a standard, right? I mean, and that's the thing, as Sharita talked about, the different communities, the Hispanic community. This is a standard. You know, I mean, this is just once upon a time, this is just what we do.
Yeah.
Once upon a time in the Black, this is just
what
we do.
Yeah.
This is, you know, that, I mean, family. This is just what we, you know, this is what we do.
Yeah.
You know, so man, that's another name. You said the future. Yes. You know, we definitely need to create a standard, and that standard is related to the future.
Yeah.
So
yes, and if anybody have an idea, alnetta@okstate.edu.
She has stepped up to the plate. Anybody who's listening and they have an idea, she just stepped up. Say that again, Ms. Morris, one more time.
You can reach me at alnetta@okstate.edu, or just call the office. The main number 918-7800, and they will connect you to me.
Awesome. Okay. Real quick before we move forward, any other information that you want to share about the Back to School Bash?
Well, I do want to give a shout out to those who have contributed. And so we have Smiley Elmore and Associates, Legacy Tees LLC, Antioch Baptist Church, Tulsa County, Now on the Clock Podcast, Tulsa Drillers, Junior League of Tulsa, and the Tulsa Alumni Chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. So these individuals have given school supplies to make this happen along with us. And a shout out to OSU Tulsa.
Yeah. There you go.
For the staff, the faculty, and students, and for all those departments who have helped to make this event a great success.
Yes.
Awesome.
Let's see. I was kind of looking at the flyer. What do we have? There's going to be some members of the police department and the fire department.
Yes,
they're going to be there too.
They will be there.
Okay.
In City of Tulsa, and so we are just so excited. People are just wanting to be a part. I've been smelling and cheesing. It's just you know, you just love it when a plan is
just coming together.
It's coming
That's
together.
what it's all about.
Yeah. You know, because I talked about saying, we need to do something. I want it to reach the community, and not just individuals and families just coming to get school supplies.
Right.
Well, how can we make this really meaningful?
Right.
You know, so let me see.
Yeah.
You know, a family might need the final dentist office. We got you covered. Here's somebody, for that. Or you're looking for a speech therapist. We got you covered. So we wanted to make sure that we give the community some opportunities and some choices on how to make their kids' school year successful.
Yeah, kind of take those some of the worries that parents may have as things that they know that they're going to have to do. But they already have some contacts to do that, just in case they don't.
Yes.
So I mean, that's awesome.
Yes, even if you're looking for after school programs, we'll have some resources there for you as well that you can sign your kids up.
Man, this sounds like an event that if anyone has, what is it, 6th grade? Pre-K.
We're going from
Pre-K to 12th grade.
Yeah.
If you have anyone in pre-K to 12th grade, you probably need to not miss this event.
Yeah.
What's the date on that, Ms. Morris?
That is the 17th, Tuesday the 17th from 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
7:15.
Okay, 5 to 7:15, and that is at OSU Tulsa.
OSU Tulsa, parking lot A. Just follow the line.
That's on Greenwood, right?
That's on Greenwood.
Okay, Greenwood, the home of the original Black Wall Street. For all of you who are listening who are not in Tulsa, there's a lot happening here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, on Greenwood, the original Black Wall Street.
Awesome.
So, again, Ms. Morris, we really do appreciate you getting here, sharing this information. With the community. You're doing a great service, as you always have done.
Always.
And everyone really appreciates you. I appreciate you, Sharita.
Definitely.
Katrina.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't. We can't take the mic from you without you saying something about Sigma Gamma Rho, right?
She already gave a plug. No, I'm just joking.
I seen a little plug, but
go ahead.
I see.
As the bachelors, Alpha Psi Sigma chapter, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, we want to have everyone just wish you a well year, keep safe, and
You guys have any programs coming up?
We actually will be doing an Operation Book Bag as well.
Awesome.
We'll be giving to a school as well.
Okay.
So we have that coming up, and then Swim 22. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay. What's Swim 22?
Well, Swim 22 is where an initiative for the Black community to encourage them to learn how to swim.
Okay.
Because there's so many of us that's our community don't know how to swim.
True, and I agree.
So this is an opportunity to get some education on that as well.
Awesome.
And then we have Olympic. What am I trying to say? Olympic.
Diving.
There you go.
Diving.
Okay. But they are performers, and they're a part of this as well.
Oh, wow.
That's
Olympic
awesome.
divers are part of this. Will this be happening?
We're still in the process of trying to get a date.
Yeah.
But that's something for the community to look at. It's a free event. So
wow.
Just come out and be a part of that.
And we can find more information on Facebook, on your website.
On the Facebook. And so be looking out for Sigma Gamma Rho.
Yeah, I mean, when that time comes, once you get all the information, I'm sure you'll come back on the health of the nation and talk about it, because this does pertain to health. It is very important for health. Actually, in the Better program, we used to, before COVID, we used to do swim workouts. We do water workouts, right? Katrina, she participated in more than a few. So we work out in the water, And so swimming is very important. It's something that we definitely need, like you said, in the Black community. A lot of people don't, and a lot of people won't, and a lot of people, because of usually from what I've experienced, it was usually hairstyles.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. We're not gonna get our hair wet.
It was hairstyles, and I guess things are evolving. Even in our program, in the Better program, where we go outside, and people used to be like, well, I'm gonna sweat my hair out. They just recognize that they felt so much better, they looked so much better, that they just let that go.
Yeah.
And now if they have to get a hairstyle, they might just take some time off and get a hairstyle and let it, then come back and get it towed up.
That's true. So true.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Sigma Gamma Rho, I mean, they've always been a big supporter of education in the community. Definitely. I'm sure Tulsa, all of Tulsa recognizes that. I certainly do. So again, we appreciate you. We appreciate the sorority, and we appreciate everybody in the sorority.
Definitely.
All right, let them know Trainer Bob Caddy said, I look forward to seeing the whole sorority. Let's make that happen. Slowly but surely. Let's open that door. And since we're going to go with a health initiative for 2022, let's start in the right place and start getting control of those diets. Start getting the right things in everybody's body so their bodies can start to heal. We can shift that immune system, shift that metabolism. Of course, we want to be ready for COVID, right? So this is where it begins. It doesn't really begin with the workout. It begins with what we're putting in our body. It begins with us making our food our medicine. So I want you to take that back to Sigma Gamma Rho and tell them it's time to learn how to make your food your medicine.
All right.
Then we'll move on to the other part.
All right.
All right.
Okay. We have a meeting tomorrow, so I'll know.
Yes. And I'll come. If I can come, I will come. If not, we can do a video call. I'd love to speak with everyone. So it's getting ready to happen. I appreciate that. Appreciate you coming. So,
don't you have a special coming up pretty soon or something?
We do. We got a special just coming up. It's up. It's happening right now.
What is it?
We're inviting everyone to join the Better program for basically just half price, back to school special too. So just to kind of ride on the back of with the program that Ms. Morris is talking about, a back to school. This is a back to school special for parents.
Okay.
So basically, anyone who wants to join the Better program, they can join for half price.
Okay.
So first thing we do, of course, we do our assessment, consult, and joining meeting. So we sit down and we just go over everything that pertains to the human body. We talk about healing. We talk about energy. We talk about digestion. We talk about food. We move into some things pertaining to wellness, mental health, addiction, things of that nature, and just kind of tie it all together, mind, body, and spirit, just to make sure, that we are on the same playing field with our clients, so we can move forward. So that's something that we do have out there. If anyone has any questions about that, they can feel free to call me at area code 918-896-5200 or reach out to any of the Better team, any of the clients who are with Better. That could be Sharita, that could be Katrina, that could be soon to be Miss Morris, that could be anybody who is a Better client. You can reach out and come and join us as we continue with our mission to improve our community, starting with the foundation being health, wellness, and fitness, which is the foundation for success. So don't miss it. Do call us. What else we got going on out there, Sharita?
Honestly,
what's going on community-wise, and that's particularly related to health, state government? What we got happening?
So the biggest issue too, there's a lot of different things that are happening. So I'm looking at papers that are in front of me right now. So we know that right now with the school mask law challenge, so we know that our governor earlier this spring put into law that masks will no longer be required for anybody, and no one can actually make masks required at their institutions. However, it's currently being challenged by parents, by physicians, and so forth, who are wanting to keep their kids safe while they're going back to school. Because our governor has put this law into action in itself, he is enforcing that law. And this group of parents and concerned citizens are trying to challenge the law and find out if it's actually legal for our governor to tell parents whether they can mask their children or not, or tell institutions whether they can require masks for the betterment of the community in general. And so that's kind of being challenged right now. One of the other things that's happening again with this whole COVID thing is that, especially for North Tulsa, they feel that what's happening with North Tulsa, we still have a lot that have not been vaccinated in that area. And if we can get more people in North Tulsa vaccinated, it would help to slow down this Delta variant that's happening right now. And again, as we learned with Ms. Katrina Tucker, that although you do get the vaccine, it doesn't necessarily mean you won't get the Delta variant, but it does mean that you will potentially have less effects from that severity of effects. Maybe correct. We're correct.
Now, talking about the Delta variant, that's a little different.
That's a little different
because that just came out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that you said that just came out like a new song.
That's a whole other conversation.
It is. Yes.
And it's still a part of COVID.
Yes, ma'am.
But it is a new strain.
Yes, ma'am.
So the vaccines were made before the Delta variant.
Very true.
But still get your vaccine.
Yeah.
Still get your vaccine.
Yeah.
Because it's better to have it than not to have it, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah. And I know that they're saying with the Delta variant, in comparison to the regular COVID-19, with Delta variant, you can actually get this Delta variant within 3 to 4 days of being around someone who's positive for it, in comparison to where with the regular COVID, it would take about 2 weeks at most to produce itself in your system. So this one is rampantly going through people's body much quicker than they have ever seen in itself. So that's what puts people more at risk. And I think that's in part why physicians, the healthcare communities is asking for more and more of the unvaccinated community to get vaccinated. One of my physicians that I work with stated, right now, this is a battle with the unvaccinated. That's what this is. This is just a war.
That's a battle in itself.
Yeah.
Of vaccinations. There's a lot of states that are very low on vaccinations. For sure. I know Mississippi and Louisiana right now, a lot of their community are not vaccinated. And they're seeing more rise in COVID numbers because of it.
Yep. I agree. Wholeheartedly. Go ahead.
And I guess a lot of those communities, they say like the poorer communities.
I won't say it's just poor communities. It's people who don't want to get vaccinated. They kind of look like us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And so it's happening here too. Where she's saying like North Tulsa community is maybe they don't have as high numbers of being vaccinated.
Nope, it's about 40% of.
So why is that? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think in part it's because when we were first dealing with COVID-19 and dealing with the testing and so forth, we did not have a lot of testing facilities in North Tulsa. We did not promote it as heavily as we would in South Tulsa and other areas, just even first on the testing and the importance of being tested. Secondly, the ability and the whereabouts to get the vaccine. It's not everywhere in North Tulsa.
Okay.
So we know that we can get vaccines at Walgreens and CVS's and things like that. But how many Walgreens are in North Tulsa?
Right.
How many physicians are in North Tulsa that can actually give the vaccine? So there is a shortage in the ability and the amount of space and the locations for people in North Tulsa to even get the vaccine if they are limited in transportation. Otherwise, they have to go downtown or out south.
Okay.
So you don't think it has anything to do with people being afraid to get the vaccine?
Oh, I know that's a part of it too.
Right. Because of what they experienced in the past.
Oh, no. And I know that's a part of it too.
Right.
But access for me is one of the biggest things. But yeah, I mean, we have a history of vaccines being used as a tool to hurt our community. general.
I mean, just in America.
Yeah, I mean
just
think about the Tuskegee experiment. Think about all those other little things that have happened to us. And we, as African Americans, have been guinea pigs since the beginning in the medical computer.
Manhattan Project.
So I think that's a big part of it. I think just not even knowing where to get it, I think it also plays a part of it with history.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why you see that's why I feel Mississippi and Louisiana, a lot of the southern states, are heavily non-vaccinated because of that history.
Because and that's closer to places like Tuskegee.
The things that happened in the past, and so I think some people are just very leery about getting it.
And I'm not particularly leaning on. I mean, we know, as far as like we say, African Americans, but there were other things done in the past. Like I say, Manhattan experiment or whatever. Things where basically the constituents trusted, the representation and trusted the government, and something else, was taking place.
Exactly.
But I wholeheartedly believe, just with the information that was presented here today, I learned something to support what I believe, which was basically, even with me being vaccinated, the possibilities are still high for me to get the virus. Now, the main challenge for me is going to be if my body is prepared. So what do we do to get people to understand how important it is to get prepared? Because this is something I don't have control over. You don't have control over. The vaccination is not going to stop it, but you can put yourself in a position, if you get it, to recover, possibly to get it and it have very little to no effects upon you.
Right.
So it's going to look like it's coming down to a personal or individual decision to do either if I'm not going to do better by my health and the things that I'm putting in my body, I need to go today. I need to go today and get the vaccine. And when it mutates again, I need to be the first one there too. And when it mutates again, I need to be the first one. Or I can make the decision and start to learn about what I need to do to put in my body to assist my immune system so that my body is prepared.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that we need to prepare. And even if we prepare and still get vaccinated, I guess that would be a double as far as a defense, a double dose of defense. But I'm definitely going to lean towards preparation. But for people who are not willing to prepare, who don't think it's that serious.
Or for people who's too far gone. There's some people whose body is already too far gone. They need to get it because if they start today, it's too late.
Yeah.
You're trying to prepare a body that's already been so heavily bruised and damaged. How do you rectify that in a day or two? I would suggest you need to go ahead because you already know your body's already weak.
Right.
Yes.
You don't want to chance that. And I wouldn't chance that.
Yeah, I wouldn't chance. That's what I would recommend too. And I've had people who just asked me, should I not? And I just told them to make sure that they was honest about it themselves, honest about what they're willing to do as far as their individual and personal health. Be honest before you make that decision. Don't be like, I don't trust the government, and then you just doing everything that's going to damage your body, doing everything that's going to hurt your immune system. But you're like, I don't trust the government. You don't trust you don't take care of your own damn. You don't love you enough. Right. You mad because the government don't love you. You don't love you.
But I will have to say this is that even in our own hospitals at OSU, we have seen some healthy people who are straight healthy. 33 years old, he's a runner. He did everything right. He took care of his body. He's active every single day, and he passed away. Right. So even some people who, even if you are 100% health conscious, that does not mean the virus is not going to come into your body and say, oh, we're going to shut you down.
Wreak havoc.
And it can do that. So it's best to prepare. You can prepare your body to be less immunocompromised by taking care of your body, taking in the healthy foods and whatever else. You can help your body to be less immunocompromised by getting the vaccine in itself. And so it is a choice. Either way it goes. But with the way this variant is, it doesn't take much for you to get COVID. You may not have gotten COVID during that first round in general, but this variant is a whole new species, and it does not take any prisoners.
Yeah. So we're just basically saying take all the precautions. The intelligent thing would be to take all the precautions necessary.
Or understand the consequences. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
I tell people, if you're not going to do this or if you're not going to do that, then you understand the consequences. You know what you're putting yourself at risk for.
Exactly.
So if it happens, you already knew that beforehand.
Yeah.
You're willing to accept those consequences.
Yeah, definitely. I understand your consequences.
Yeah. I understand my consequences, and I'm going to do better. That's what I'm going to say. What about you, Sharita? Do you understand the consequences and you're ready to do better?
I understand the consequences wholeheartedly.
And what about the last part?
And I am going to do better. Oh, okay. I am doing better.
What about you, Miss Morris?
I'm going to do better.
Okay. Katrina?
I've done better.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm doing better. Better is possible.
Already.
Oh, she's wearing it.
So that's what needs to happen.
Better is possible.
And that's the mission. I mean, that's the message that we're sending out to the community on this note. Everyone, just let's do better. Yeah. It's step by step. It's a process. It's nothing that happens overnight. Just like you can't, if you're in bad shape, you can't get in good shape overnight. It's a process. So we need to start ASAP. So again, really do appreciate you all joining us today on the Health of the Nation. This is Improvement Coach Robert L. Caddy. I'm here with my partner in crime, ma'am.
Sharita Sweet.
Sharita Sweet's in the house. Of course, we're broadcasting live from the original Black Wall Street here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we're on radio station KBOB 89.9. This is our radio station. This is the community radio station here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. KBOB 89.9. So if you can support 89.9 in any way possible, please do. We're accepting donations for a lot of different things that we're doing here. We have a program where we work with the kids. We give kids opportunity to learn more about media and different things of that nature. So there's a lot of good things happening here at KBOB 89.9. Anything that you can help us with. This is a community radio station. It is a true community radio station. So again, we really do appreciate you tuning in and listening. And we will see you again next week, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 89.9 KBOB, and here at on Facebook at KBOB 89.9 as well. It is getting ready to happen, and we will see you next week. We got to go.
Bye-bye. As long as you